like attraction and like chemistry was not there from the beginning. And I realized like I was not happy.
There was never an attraction.
I think there was attraction that eventually came, but
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91, talking to you guys about Myrla and Gil. And we're kind of just going to go back a little bit through all the season, throughout the whole season, bringing up clips to show you that Myrla is either lying in this moment here or she lied the entire show. Now, I personally want to hope that Myrla lied here at the reunion and she was hurt and she's saying what she's saying, right? Rather than her lying about how she feels about Gil throughout the whole of the season. The second one is much worse, which means you premeditated how you moved. Okay, when you were saying things like you didn't think you were going to break up and that, you did all of this knowing what you were planning to do. So I've provided clips upon clips upon clips. I've got them ready for you. That's why it's taken so long to provide the evidence that this girl said she was feeling our boy Gil. She liked him. She found him attractive. She thought he was patient. She was this and that. And they had major conversations about moving in and this and that. And we're going to compare it with the reunion and what she said. Bear in mind also, I know a lot of people are going to say the reunion is filmed some time after. Yes, it was. But they had broken up 14 days. 14 days after. And if they broke up 14 days after they had finished their filming, the original filming, right? Whatever was said in between, whatever Gil says in between that time is what was apparently said at that time. She doesn't add to it on the reunion. She only gives what she said at that time. She would have never watched the episodes back, so she would have never known that Gil was quote unquote being abusive and saying things. She would have never known that because they would have never seen those episodes. Right? So 14 days in, should have never seen those episodes. Maybe now, but her excuses were talking about what she said at 14 days. So we're going to break a lot of things down for you guys. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button, notifications are up, loads. And for those of you who are returnees, really know what it is, baby. You got the minerals, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Good to have a voice back, man. All right, listen. Let's see what she's saying here.
for me, there has to be more. And I didn't think that was fair to me or to him. When you don't have that chemistry, that like fire, like you.
So she's saying she never had that chemistry, never had that fire, never had that particular connection with the individual person. Keep that in mind, because when I start showing the clips, I don't want to hear mess and chat, okay, of excuses of how you're going to defend Myrla. I provide evidence. I ain't going to give my feelings. You understand?
Can't force someone to have that, Kevin. I mean, there's a ton of attractive women and men everywhere. And it's like, if you're just not happy, should I continue to not be happy?
Now, here's the thing. Very much early so, we know Myrla said no bald heads and this and that. So we knew that that wasn't her physical type, right, from the jump. That is not a problem. I want to make it very clear. Myrla having a physical type is not a problem. Gil not being her financial level is not a problem. If she ended it that way and without what happened in the middle, what we see on the show, and she ended it that way, there is no problem. Because we would understand that's how she felt. Just like Ryan, she would have that choice to make. What we don't want to see is the very thing that Ryan didn't do, but Myrla did, which is envelop somebody into feeling like they care and love for you, and you really were making it as if you cared and love for them, but really you weren't feeling them at all. Really, it was all a game, drawing that person in and hoping and praying that it would change. Right? That's sneaky right there. Okay, but let's just listen again.
I get it.
He's an amazing person. I mean, he's handsome, everything, but we are just not for each other.
Okay.
Again, so he's handsome, he's that, he's this, we're just not for each other. Baby girl, what were you doing on divorce day, decision day? You had a choice to make. You didn't have to say yes. Nobody pressured you. Nobody forced you. You weren't you weren't coerced. Okay. You weren't pressured. Okay. Right. None of that. Okay. None of that was on the agenda here. You chose to stay with. Yeah. You chose to stay with oh boy, because for you, this is what you wanted. So to flip it around on the 14 days and be like, I don't want this anymore, we're two different people. Why didn't you say that at the time? Right? Okay, let's break it down. I went back all the way from episode 1. I want to show you something as well, right? Because there's a clip where old girl tells us she has never been called high maintenance by any of her partners. Yeah, she says she says never been called anything. Look, I'm gonna call cap on a lot of stuff that she said. Right, let's go. Okay, let's just bring this here. Right, let me get this up. Okay, listen to this.
Like telling you I'm not high maintenance, because I did say that, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm not a diva, because I have never been described as high maintenance or a diva by anyone that I've dated before.
But
now, she's never been described by anybody who she's dated before, but even your friends call you high maintenance. Let me go to exhibit A.
No, we
You
can't
don't
do
know.
someone cheap, y'all.
It's about what you need, not what you
But
want.
maybe you need somebody cheap because you high maintenance.
So I need someone to
That'll
let me
balance
not
you
go
out.
shopping?
Yeah.
Did you hear what he just said? Old boy said you need someone cheap, made it likely because you're high maintenance. Now, I don't think she needs someone cheap, but she's high maintenance. Evidently. Right? So her saying, oh, I've never been called high maintenance, she knows exactly she has been called high maintenance. The very person right next to you who has been defending you for the past 13 years has called you high maintenance. Let's not play. Let's go to another clip.
2 weeks, y'all. I'm a little bougie. It's just who I am as a person. So like my husband has to be okay with it.
I'm a little what? Bougie. Okay, baby. Right? So you got high maintenance, you got bougie, okay, all right, about the way you operate, right? And whenever someone is high maintenance and bougie, whenever somebody of a seemingly lower class meets them, we always have this contention between the two people. But the difference here is that the woman is a higher class and the man is a lower class, and there's what we call drawing lines, right? So for instance, when we're doing our lives, there are people rooting for Myrla and there's people rooting for Gil. Evidently, both sides are going to feel some type of way. But what we're seeing is because Myrla is a woman, okay, oh, she's allowed to have a standard, she's allowed to spend her money how she wants, da, 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 da. So when she's saying she's bougie, she's high, and they're describing her as high maintenance, when we say, that attitude is a bit deplorable and it's not really inviting, it's not really attractive, you get shut down and called a dusty. Okay, not everybody, but some people, right? Because they feel like, oh, you're just trying to be a Debbie Downer, you're trying to quash women, you don't want them to rise, you don't want to see women prosper, you should up your level, da 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 da. But her attitude, as we've just seen in the video, she describes herself as bougie, okay, which can then be seen as bratish or can even be seen as somebody who's classist or elitist. It can come across as that, right? And then you're high maintenance with it. I'm not trying to bash nobody. I'm only bringing what the evidence is saying, right? Here's another thing about Myrla, right? Because we're talking about the fact that she felt like she was miserable, unhappy. But if I go to my evidence, if I go to my evidence, let's see what Myrla was.
rate how happy you are.
That's a really good question. I would say like an 8. You know, you have this idea.
So out of 10, Myrla is an 8. So out of happiness, Myrla is an 8 for happiness, right? But all of a sudden, at the end of the show, she's not. Right? So at the beginning, we are seeing 8 out of 10, all right, on the show, and then something happens, and all we hear is, I was never happy. Darling, which one is it? Were you happy? Were you not happy? Were you happy? Were you not happy? Which one was it? Right, let's go back to that. Let's go back to where we were and listen out.
Be with me if they don't want to be with me. But if you feel like that, why not speak to me about it?
And that is the biggest issue we have with Myrla. If you had a problem with him, right, why not say it? Why not say it from early, right? You weren't attracted to him from the beginning? Let's go to another clip.
So when you first saw me,
I said, thank God you're not ugly.
Okay.
You look nice and clean cut, have a nice
quirkiness?
smile, because
Thank you.
smiles are important for me.
Okay, so Myrla was happy, because she was feeling that he wasn't ugly. She never said he was attractive. She said obviously he wasn't ugly. Later on, she says he's handsome, which I'll play another clip, right? She said it in that episode of there, and she said it also in the show, right? Now, someone might say, well, she never said he was attractive. I mean, that really isn't the thing. If you start calling someone handsome, you know what I'm saying? Someone might say, well, you never called him sexy, so it's not a thing. listen, we're gonna take the handsome as you found him some way attractive at least. You said yourself he's not ugly, right? You said yourself he's not ugly, right? Let's see another thing.
I think Gil, my husband, is a handsome man. But I think for me, personality, heart, and soul are what attracted to me.
Now, here's the only thing I want to say that I'm going to defend Myrla with, because I think I heard it twice. Here and on a reunion, she said personality is important to her, right? So originally, right, when we talk about personality, when we talk about relationships, you have to think about the personality. You have to think about the inner intrinsic qualities, right? And this is where I can see there may be a difference for Myrla and Gil, where if Gil is not of the same personality that she requires, same as him, or the same liking, same kind of thought process her, I can understand why she quit the relationship. But then you can't say it never existed. You can't say I never loved the person, right? Can't say that you never felt love for the person, because that's not the truth. In fact, let me just show you if I can bring another clip here.
I think I'm on the route to. My coordinates are straight. Like, I'm going the right direction towards it. I don't know how far or close.
Now, this is a conversation they're having about falling in love and where they are. This was a thing they were questioning each other with, right? He said, I'm on the route to, I'm on the road to, I'm getting there, I've got the coordinates, right? What's important is what her response is going to be, because she's now going to explain this whole, what I mean by choosing to love somebody. So there's going to be no exit clause about, oh, she said she's choosing to love somebody, not that she's in love with a person. No, she's going to choose an exit clause. Either she's in love, if she's choosing to love somebody, what does that mean? Okay, let's have a little look.
Close I am to it, but I feel like living together 24/7, that's either gonna make or break it, person, eventually. No.
Okay, so they're still talking about 24/7, you know, the convo about talking about living together, etc., etc. I want to fast forward it now to the actual point where they're talking about the actual conversation. Let's see if I can get it here.
I honestly don't know how long it's going to take me to be able to make that decision about love.
What's the question again?
Do you think you are beginning to fall in love?
So again, she says here quite clearly, listen, I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get to that place, to fall in love, etc., etc. During the part of this conversation, she's actually going to explain that how when she chooses love, she doesn't feel like falling in love is one of those things. She has to choose it. Has to be one of those things where she has to choose it. She can't just fall in love. And that makes sense, because like I said, when she said this also at the dinner, we also didn't blast her because we understood it, right? If you say you fall in love is not it, but you choose to fall in love, then correct. Because I choose to fall in love. I don't fall in it no more. Right? I don't fall in it. So let's play the clip now. Let's get the clip up for you guys, okay? I'll get you the clip and where you're going, okay? All right, let's go.
I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like loving someone is a choice that I make, and I have to actively make that choice to love someone.
Isn't everything in life a choice?
Everything.
So sorry, did you hear that? Should I go back for you just to give it a bit of context and see what she said again, just to see if you missed it? She said, loving someone is a choice. Now, someone can flip it to semantics about she didn't say she's in love with him. I mean, in this particular case, she's making it very clear. If she's going to be in love with somebody, right, or falling in love. So let me go further back so you can listen to it, right?
In love.
Sorry, let me go back.
Yeah, we can do it.
Do you think you are beginning to fall in love?
All right. Context now. Do you think you're beginning to fall in love? So just in case somebody says, oh, she didn't mean in love, she just meant to say that she got love for somebody. And before you try to semantically throw me off with that stuff, I'm proving a point by using evidence and using what we're seeing on the screen. She says, obviously, do you believe you're falling in love? Listen to her description of what it is.
I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like loving someone is a choice that I make, and I have to actively make that choice.
So loving someone, okay, is an active choice she has to make. Okay, she has to make that choice. Listen to what there's similarities in what she's saying. when it comes to sex, she also has to what? Feel comfortable, safe to be able to do it. When she wants to kiss, she has to feel safe and want to do it. To fall in love, she has to make a choice to want to do it. Everything that she's talking about is very conscious and detailed and calculated in how she does it. When I say calculated in this perspective, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Right? In this perspective, it's more about the fact that she is conscious of how she goes about this particular process. So if anybody's to try and flip it, you can't flip it away from this. What Myrla is saying is, that's what I'm saying to you. Either she lied on the show and she's hurt and wants to get back at Gil, or she lied about the whole entire show. Because she's telling us she's conscious in how she falls in love, which means you were lying to the brother because you never were in love. Right? You were lying to the brother because you were never being in love, right? You said you know what love is, right? So you haven't fallen in love with him, and that's what's really, again, you know, I'll go to it again. We can go to it and see what we're saying here. Let's bring this up again.
So I can take a step back and go from there.
How do you know that that's how you would have reacted?
We talked about decision day before decision day came.
So they're having conversations about decision day in terms of what they're going to do. Miller knows exactly what they were going to do. So let me show you another clip. Again, what he just explained there is before decision day, we discussed it. Everybody knew what they were going to do. Miller had a... Now, someone might say, well, she didn't want to embarrass him. Come off it. Even if you don't embarrass him, you're embarrassing him now. So you've done a worse job. You're embarrassing him now.
He continues to be consistent in all the things that I've seen in him since day one.
And now we've been living together for 4 weeks and we're so happy.
And listen, I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said, right? Everything she's saying, okay, everything that's being said, okay, is all to do with her. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything that hasn't been that she hasn't said herself. She's making us know she was happy. She was happy because he was consistent in his behavior. I don't think he's changed his behavior because that wasn't her. That wasn't her answer. Her answer was about the reason as to hold on a minute, because of the fact we have two different personalities. Nothing to do with the fact that this particular situation here, being unhappy at first, right? Now she's explained to us, oh, I was unhappy, but yet we're seeing all of this stuff here, right? We're seeing all of this stuff here. Let's have another clip of what Miller was saying about Gil again, right? Let's just episode
Together for 4 weeks and we're so happy.
I humbly give you all that I am, and I pray that you take me as I am and will teach me to love you. I will be your willing pupil.
Again, she let us know she's so happy. All right, and then they did a flashback. Where did it go wrong that you're now saying you were never happy? You never found him you were never attracted to him, but you know he's attractive. Okay, all right. Where are we going to the fact that obviously, you know, he was miserable the whole entire time? You know, where are we getting this stuff from? Because we're seeing this on the screen, right? And it's so funny. Look at this clip.
We're talking about future. We're talking about building a home. We're talking about where we're going to live. I mean, we're talking about everything as in like, this is the marriage that we want for life. And so
It truly...
So you're talking about everything. We discuss everything. In fact, the clip with where she speaks to her friend, she said, me and Gil, we talk about everything, right? And if there's a situation to talk about, we'll talk about it, right? Isn't that interesting in that clip that, no, sorry, that clip, in the conversation they have later on, how, you know, how she lets us know that they are able to discuss things and talk about things and break things down and then comfortably discuss going forward what they're going to do. And then all of a sudden, you don't discuss this issue with him until the very last day. He doesn't find out that this is how you feel until the very last day. Isn't that weird? All right. Let's watch this little clip
even
here.
I would have, like, what I could have imagined. And I will say, like, he is so patient. And I don't even know that I stressed patience, like, enough.
And you got it. So if
Fam, it's a Mazzoline right now, kids. A Mazzoline.
We talked about what we wanted from each other. We both decided we're gonna stay together. I sold everything.
So you had this discussion of what it takes to make sure both of you people are going to make it together on decision day. If this was something that was so huge, he was miserable, he wasn't happy, you weren't happy, and all this stuff was being played, why the heck did you not say this for decision day? Why not? Right? It don't make sense. You let us know, okay, all right. Let me show you this. Okay, you let us know that you ain't divorced on the. That's when I start to say, I think this person might be controlling.
I mean, it's not something that I'm worried about. We're not going to get a divorce. So you should just be like, no, I'm not going to divorce her.
Do you know why she can say that confidently? Because potentially she always had it in her mind, the plan of being able to play him to the end and then dumping him at the end. It's not inconceivable. It really isn't inconceivable at all. The brother sold everything he had to move into the house. Like, okay, cool. Probably shouldn't have done that. Wouldn't have been the wisest thing to do. But you knew that when he was moving in, after he had told you about his lease, that you were gonna do this action, right? Because since obviously you weren't feeling him from the very beginning, you already had it in your mind that this was not going to be a thing for you. This wasn't going to be a relationship for you. But you let him move in. You let him end his lease without saying, hey, no, don't end your lease. You know? So there is some accountability here that she needs to take into place, right? You know, and really deep that she has hurt the individual people. I see some of the comments that were saying Gil will land on his feet. And that really is, we're ignoring the fact that a man can have emotional hurt. I've gone on to Gil for you guys, and that's because it was the truth. I spoke against Gil because it was the truth. But I also spoke up against Myrla and her attitude, which was abysmal, right? Your own friends tell you some of your things. Like this.
there's compromise.
I'm pretty good at compromise, right, Alicia?
No.
Mr. Brown, I'm pretty good at compromise. Remember we worked together?
Nope. I'm not in that.
She's not good at compromise. So this was never going to work in this relationship. I'm not saying that he doesn't want to compromise. I'm not saying that he's a great compromiser either. But we got this information from her own friends that she don't compromise. The information we got from Gil was he's cheap. They were opposite ends of the spectrum. If she said he wasn't financially the way she wanted and that's why she's leaving him, we all be cool with it. But she added extra sauce to the food and it was not necessary. Made it too salty, right? That is what we're holding her accountable for. If she said, I gotta go because this is not my kind of thing, we would not be cussing. We would not be cussing. I couldn't cuss. Let's look at this scene. Let's look at this scene here. Where they took place.
I know that marriage is something that Myrla wants, but at times she can require a lot. And if, a man doesn't meet that mold, I fear for him.
I want.
What can I say? Let me leave it there. We'll discuss this a little bit later on. I'm going to discuss some other issues that came up. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. You better stay locked and you better stay loaded because it's hot up here in them streets, baby. It's hot in them streets. Little black, you know what kind.